Well, I can tell you that I am so ready for spring. Look what I did. I walked over to the grocery store and I got myself a small little bunch of flowers because it is the weather got a little bit nicer. Thank you for joining me. I'm Pat Sloan and welcome to my quilting neighborhood here in my studio. On my Fireside Chats, I tell you a little bit about what I've been doing all week, and that's at the end you have to listen because I have a little something that I'll call out a name, and you know that something might go to you. So listen in. I don't know. I've been reading this book. It's called Cozy Something. It's interesting because it's about what are the things that make us feel cozy. And as quilt makers, we know that we really like quilts. Quilts make us cozy, but there's so many different things. The word is a much broader base of like what makes you feel good is really what she means, the author. And so there was a chapter on flowers, and I thought, oh, I need to get some flowers to bring in the house. I don't do that often, so this is one of those $5 bunches. I figured I can get a $5 bunch because it's bright and it's cheerful and happy, and these kind of flowers, they'll last a little while, right? They last a while. So I thought I had to bring it here and show you what's going on. So I do want to, let me get my laptop up here, tell you first about my podcast that was on Monday. I forgot to bring the screen up, but I always have a really great group of people. When I do my podcast, it's on Monday afternoons, and I talk to usually 3 to 4 people, just depending on what's going on. Of course, I was negligent. I didn't bring this up in advance. Okay, so what I talked to Mallory Donahue, and Mallory is a Baby Lock ambassador like I am, and we talked a bit about working with knits. She comes from the garment making side of sewing, and she and her mother had owned a fabric store for quite a while, so she had some really interesting sort of thoughts about what we can do to work with knits. Because you go into the quilt stores now, or you go into the websites, and there's a lot of knits available. Nancy Mahoney and I talked about EQ, and she's used EQ literally forever, and she teaches it. You can probably take a class from her if you wanted to. But what she did is tell us some of the things that you may not realize or know are available. So sort of some pinpoints telling you about them, which I thought was interesting. Then my good friend Jenny Wilding Carden, Jenny came on, and she has this book on mending, which is like all the rage. Have you seen like the stitching on your jeans and your jackets? And we talked about thrifting, how to find something, how to fix it, how to cover it up, how to make it decorative. It was a lot of fun. She's super creative. She works for my publisher Martingale, and she's also an author of several books. And writes a blog, and it's on Instagram, so you can find her out there. Yay! So that was what was going on with all of my podcast stuff this week. Fun. I just love it. I love talking to people and hearing what they do and how they think through the process of what they do. So that's what my podcast is about, and it's free. You just go to my website. We have a brand new player. It's bigger. I think it's easier to it's easier to see, obviously, because it's bigger. But try it out. Let me know when you get there. I'll put I'll put links for everything here so you can get to it. So what else is going on? I'll just move these up here. First, Kimberly sent me this last week, her new Stitch Squad baseball t-shirts. These are so soft, so soft. I don't know, I could almost sleep in one of them, right? They're so soft. And on the back it says, Fat Quarter Shop. Kimberly of the Fat Quarter Shop. If you're not sure who Kimberly is, she's the owner with her husband Kevin of the Fat Quarter Shop. They're my friends. All right, so what do we have this week? We had the flower bouquet, and I have my top part stitched, but the big blocks, but I didn't do the sashing yet. There's always something, right? I just didn't get to the sashing yet. I need to put it back up on the design wall. The design wall right now has something else on it, Oh, I just looked over there. Something fell on the floor. Oh, no, I have that. So here is, how did it go? Whoop, I'm messing up. So here are the new blocks, right? The two small ones, and then I put them into my piece. Ta-da! So this is my second big square. Now some of you, because you have the layout, you've been putting them in, and remember on those small ones, each of the 4 quadrants has different small blocks. You know, so for the week, if you've worked ahead and you think you're all going to be the same, you just won't have blocks that week, you know, if you don't want to remake them, which is totally fine. Okay, so I figured I would talk about some of the progress I've made on things. Right now, what I'm working on are some working forward to things that we're going to do in the future, or things I'm going to share with you in the future. So my ability sometimes to do the other stuff slows down because I have to put a lot of energy. And like I said last night when I did a quick little video, like a lot of my brain power has to go to writing and design and analysis and, you know, that business stuff that runs a business. So I've been doing a lot of that, and I still have, you know, quite a bit of things going on for that. So while that's going on, it's harder for me to, even in the evening, find time to really sew, because sometimes I'm just too tired, like you are. You know, maybe you get tired. So I have to find a way to have a little something to sew even when I'm feeling tired. So I decided that I would get, you know, I have the farm to garden blocks. I had the blocks done, and I was like finally like, just sew this up, because ta-da, there we go. It is a table runner for me. I'm going to do the table runner instead of the quilt. And there was enough, I think I had to make one more block, and so there's plenty of fabric to do that. And I didn't bring it over with me, but there is the one navy, I think it's this one, that navy fabric. There's extra of that, and I'm going to put a little border around it and a table runner for a gift for somebody. So these are a kit. They're a really reasonable little kit that you get this, and you get the white fabric, and you get all this stuff all together. So I will link that up so you can find it. All right. Also, we had this is the week for the Christmas figs. This is the block for the week, which is the bear paw. You know, I've never seen a bear paw with applique in it, and I thought that was really nice. Now, you, of course, if you have a fear of applique, then you need to get my book. But, you know, this is a good applique to start with. I'm trying to get the Christmas fig book to show you. Okay, so this is where it comes from. These are the blocks, and they are all up on my design wall because I was working forward to have them ready, because I'm doing tips. So I'm making the block, I'm showing you tips. Like I have a close-up of my applique on this one, but you know, that means it's a little bit more than me just doing the block and showing it to you. I have to take photos and put together and write up the article. So that's one of the things I did. Okay, what else? Well, of course, what else? The big mega, everything's over here, sorry. The big mega giveaway for my book tour. My book tour is running. I wish it was a real book tour. I wish I was like out on the road going to real bookstores like Barnes & Noble and standing there. I did that once. I went to Barnes & Noble once after the trade show in Minnesota, and that was super fun. I don't know if any of you were the ones that came to that, but it was really, really fun to do a real book tour in a real bookstore, you know. But for most part, for quilters, it's all virtual. So it's a virtual book tour. So you go to some of my friends who are sharing my book and sharing things that they did. So the Quilt of Seasons is shipping. So if you pre-ordered, it's shipping out. If you haven't gotten it yet, there'll be a link down there where you can get it. The first sew along we're going to do, I'm going to call it Tulip Fest, right? Because, do you want to see the tulip blocks? I made some in different colors. I am so excited. I am so excited about the tulip quilt. So it is, I have like all these notes in here. See if I can show you the picture without dumping everything on the floor. There. This is the quilt. This is the tulip quilt. And it's inspired from going to see the tulips in Holland, particularly Keukenhof. Oh my goodness, if you ever can go to Keukenhof, go, 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 go. So it is incredible. Okay, let me show you some tulip blocks. And they're nice big tulips. So here is, I did this on a white background, you know, a little white print. So then I thought, well, let's put one, I want to do a white tulip, but to do a white tulip I can't use a white background or because it would mush out. So I did it on this blue. There we go. You can see, I can peek around. This is on this. So I wanted the white tulip. I really I wanted the white heart inside the tulip. So that's on a blue. There's that blue fabric. It's pretty nice. I like it. That's from an art gallery, Amy Sinibaldi fabric. Okay. Now, I don't know, this might be my favorite. I might have to do a whole quilt like this. I'm going to need more polka dots though. Ta-da! Look at this. The purple one, I just love it with the big polka dots. Look, are you a purple fan? Purple tulips, I mean, even if you're not a purple fan, you have to love purple tulips. I would have liked to have gone over and gotten a bunch of tulips today. That would have been amazing, but apparently that wasn't in the cards. My grocery store didn't have any tulips. Okay, last one. For the lady who I never can remember your name, but I hope you're watching, who wanted me to use black gingham. There we go. A yellow tulip with black gingham. I love it. I'm thinking a whole quilt of those would be super amazing. This gingham though I bought is old. I mean, I went through my stash. I have no idea, like it doesn't have an edge on it. It's been cut up and there's like all big triangles and things. So I have enough to do a couple blocks. I might actually do 4 blocks or something like that and do 4 different yellow tulips. I don't know. Or not. Who knows? These would be cool just by themselves. You can make just a wall hanging just of this. You know, just put a little bit more frame around it and quilt it. Lots of ideas, right? I can think up enough work to keep you busy for your entire life. You will never need to want for something to sew. Just hang out with me. I have got ideas. I have so many ideas. All right, I wanted to show you a couple things that I've been thinking about. One is about sort of string blocks, because we end up with things like this, right? These pieces are from my Gemini die cut machine. After I've done the die, I will end up with skinny little strips like this, you know, between where I cut the dies, which is, you know, great because it's very little waste. But I thought I would like to do something with this. So let's come down here onto the tabletop. And so there's all different sizes. We can get a little closer here. Some of them are quite skinny, like this. That is quite the skinny piece. And then there's some that are pretty darn chunky, because I was like, okay, whatever. I'm not too worried about that being chunky. But even this skinny piece, which is, let me see, reaching over here. That is, if I were to actually trim it, it would be about a half of an inch. A half an inch, maybe another 1/8 of an inch. So it's usable. So this is what I did. I decided that I would play with string blocks because I've always wondered, I've really never done it. I may have like many zillions of millions of years ago done it, but not lately. And I thought, well, how would that work? So this is a 7-inch square of just cream fabric, you know, no print, because some of these are light, so I don't want any print on there. Although if you are using all darks, here's a tip. If you're using all dark fabrics like this, and you just had some like fabric you didn't like anymore, you could use it for the base. So I basically just did sew and flip. Let me show you. I'll bring it down even closer here. I'm laying them out and sewing one on top of the other, and I'm not trimming, because I'm just being careful to lay it close. Like you can see here, you know, I could have trimmed that neatly, but I didn't. So now the problem is I have some of these that are small, like this chunk can't sew there because you can see it's not long enough. So I either would have to add to it, like in perfect world I would add another green one, but I could add these two and make a big chunk. But instead, because I have a lot of stuff here, there, I found another piece. That's long enough, right? It goes over. It has to go past both of here. So if I were going to sew this on, I'd be sure it was pressed good, and then sew across here, sew the seam like right across here, and then flip it and press again, and just build out both sides. Now I could take this to the next level and put batting on the back, and maybe even fabric again. I'm going to play around with that, so you could do quilt as you go like this. And you've probably seen that, but it might be new for some of you. So this is how I'm going to build it out. Now, if I wanted to audition the fabric, I could do like this. I could see by just laying it down, you know, what would work, what would cover up the edges here. So this would be, you know, a way for me to sort of play around and see how big are the pieces and try them out. So, you know, I wouldn't put that again because that's the exact same fabric. So I would have to go, maybe those gray strips there. See, like put that long skinny gray strip, and then just keep going until I fill one up, and then repeat, repeat, repeat. So that was, I've been wanting to try that for so long, like really, like forever. And I've had this little stack from doing the flower bouquet. Whenever I do the Gemini die cut, I went and I've been, you know, cutting these, and I have them in my office assistant. On the bottom level of the office assistant is this pile. It actually was neat at one point, and then I started being like, okay, just toss it in there. That's not so good, is it? You know, because they get really messy when you do it like that. So that's what I did anyway. And I think I'm going to use it to start and stop projects. So if I'm sewing something else, I'm going to start and stop with that. That's the plan. That is the plan. It has to be available though. You know, you can't have these start and stop projects can't be shoved in a corner where you can't get to them. They've got to be very close and available. And so right now that's not too far away, but it's not right on the table. So I have to, you know, do a little rearranging. Okay, the other two other things. Do you do this daylight savings well? I'm like, you know, I'm so messed up on the time. For the longest time this morning, I'm like, it's 10:30. Wow, it seems like it's been 10:30 a long time. No, it's 11:30. You know, I'm just like, though my brain is kind of nutty. It's nutty on these days. All right, so I definitely last night I was hoping to do this, but it didn't happen. So tonight I'm going to make a Norm. Here is Norm and Nanette. I don't know, they just make me smile. I just think they're so darling. So I have to make it. Now the neat thing is, I'm going to show you up close here. They all are made with different colors, and Elizabeth Hartman's pattern. Now I've not actually made any. I have some of her patterns, but I haven't actually sewed them yet. So I went through reading how this was set up, and it's marvelous. It's a booklet, so you can see it's, you know, multiple pages, and she has a color chart. Let me show you that, for what fabrics go for Norm and Nanette. So she's got, was it Norm? Norm's down here by letter. So like Norm in row B, this is what his outfit is. Well, I looked at the cover and I thought, well, which one do I want to make first? Because I am not the kind of person who needs to make at the start and go across. I want to make one that I want to make first. So I looked and I thought, I like the Norman green because it's March and it'll be St. Patrick's Day. So I'm going to do this Norm. He's the one I'm going to do first. Now looking at this, the kit, if you want a kit, it comes with a kit. You can buy, I'll link to it, but you can buy just a booklet or you can buy a whole kit. And when you buy a kit, it comes with the layer cake, which has all the different fabrics that Norm and Nanette use for prints. These are all Elizabeth's fabrics. They're just super cute. And then it comes with a layer cake of solids that go with it, because each one is done with solids and and a layer cake. Plus it comes with the extras like the face and the belt buckle, and I guess we must use more mushrooms than anything else, and the base, which is this gray slubby tweedy stuff. It's just awesome. It is so awesome. I love it. So I was thinking, if I wanted to be efficient making Norm and Nanette, like super efficient, I would probably cut like the things that, like Nanette's hair, like Nanette's hair is the same fabric. So you cut all the hair, cut all of Norm's beards, you cut all their faces, cut all the eyeballs, cut all the belt buckles for Norm. You know, doing that, you would sort of have them all cut and ready rather than cutting one at a time. I mean, that would be way more efficient. What am I gonna do? Tonight, I'm cutting just one. Because I wanna sew it. I wanna make it up. I don't wanna cut all this stuff and not have any sewing. So tell me in the comments, and this will be our answer for the things I have at the end that somebody will get. So here is what you tell me. Are you a person who likes to cut everything in advance and then sew? Or do you like to cut some and then sew? And you can say it depends on the project, because in the case of this one, I think I'm going to, after I make my first Norm and my first Nanette, I am going to go back and cut all the basics, all the hair, all the beards, you know, all the backgrounds, try to keep them organized, and then that way I can just go to these layer cakes and cut the individual you know, person's outfits out, you know. But the first two, I'm just gonna go right in there and cut it. So that's what you have to answer. I'll remind you at the end here. Okay, now I have made progress on my cross stitching. See, Kimberly did these t-shirts for her Stitch Squad. This is her, she has a group on Facebook, plus stitching, you know, a lot of times is used for embroidery, for floss, for cross stitch, you know, the Stitch Squad. So I think it came more from that, but her group was like, we need t-shirts. So they're so cute. So I have made progress. Da-da-da-da-da. And the best part is I have figured out how, for me, to stitch this like I'm sewing, like with a rocking stitch for a lot of it. I went and found some videos where people do that, and I have also found that I need to work it sideways so that it's coming towards me. I thought I was going to be really smart and have a bit of this you know, ready to show you, but I don't. This is how I'm doing, getting my floss on there, wrapping it. So I don't know here. While I'm getting this out and putting it on the needle, you can tell me what is spring to you, huh? We talked about spring last time, so you gave me all those great answers. So I'm hoping that, you know, you are ready and wanting spring to be here like I do. All right, let me move this down here and zoom it in so that you can see what I'm doing. So I have a needle threader, I have a needle minder. That's what this is. Whoops, this is a needle minder, so that it's a magnet, and it has on the back, there's the back, whoops, sorry. I have to get it into the camera view. There, I'm upside down. There's the magnet, and here it is on this side. And my needle's on there so I don't lose it. And then I have this needle threader, which is wonderful. And I just put it in, put the eye in here. Now, in reality, a lot of times I lick the end of it, you know, and just stick it through. I'm going to do it anyway. There we go. This makes it easier than trying to thread 4 things through a little, even the eyes are bigger. And then you just pull it off like this. And I'm doing 4 strands, and I'm also looping on the back so that I'm not making a knot or sewing over the threads. I have a loop. So let me see if I can do this here. Because I'm not gonna pull it way down, but you can see the needle coming up, right? And I am going to take it down across here. And then let me just go to the back and put it through the loop. Ooh, I almost missed the loop. Okay, here we go. And then now I will come up and let me show you how I'm sewing. So I am sewing like this. I am going to the catty corner and then I'm pushing it and rocking it through so that I don't have to stab stitch. And it's loose. I've got this fairly loose in the frame. So I'm going back the other way there. I pulled it a little too tight. Going back the other way, that's what I do. It's just a rocking motion, a stitch. I'm gonna go back the other way. Now I do find it a little bit tricky if I've already got thread in the hole, but it's not too bad. Oops, so you can see I have to come down to the next level. I'm not on the same level now. All right, tell you one more, rock. And then that way, and I found that if I'm rocking forward and backwards towards me, like this direction, you know, I'm sitting on this side, that I'm sitting over here. So I'm not facing the flower like it's laid out. And this is what helped. All of a sudden, once I did this, I was like, okay, this will work. This is a lot faster than stab stitching for me. Plus, I stitch. That's what I do. So, you know, stab stitching and actually using frames is not so easy either for me, but I'm leaving the frame anyways. Okay. So now we have time. Now we have time to see, what I got this. We have some people's names. Now last time I gave away the Jolly Bar and I had nobody to send it to. The person never wrote and I posted it in my newsletter and everything. So we gotta move on. It's been a week. You snooze, you lose. You gotta watch and come back and pay attention. So I have, let me move my embroidery. Put it back in the office assistant. So the Jolly Bar now, we have a new person the Jolly Bar will go to. And that is Carla. Carla. And Carla said last week, the arrival of spring in 2019 is on the 1-year anniversary of her mom's passing. She will garden in her honor on that day. I just think that is so sweet. I mean, it's you know, it's hard. It's got to be hard, and that's just a wonderful way to honor your mom. She enjoys her garden, and will have sewing and quilting for the evening hours, and then she's going to do the tulip quilt with me. Yay! All right, Carla. So Carla, you need to write me at pat@patsloan.com, and it's also down there. Just email me so I can ship this to live with you instead of live with me. Okay, so the other one I had from last week was this really cute fabric bundle. It's a pretty nice size bundle from Minky Kim Fabric, and this is Riley Blake, and it's so cute. It feels like spring. Look at this. Look. I will link it so that in case you're not the winner, you can actually purchase it because you will want to. Look at the little birdhouse. Oh my gosh, it's so cute. It's the little birds. And then this has a little scenery. Aren't they darling? And then here's a little girl. They're just so darling. Minky does amazing work. Okay, so whose home does this go to? Heather. This goes to Heather. Spring is all about going outside any moment you can. driving with the windows down. Yes, the windows down. I love that. That's my favorite thing. Watching the world come back to life. You know, that's a wonderful way to say it, Heather. Watching the world come back to life. Today I was looking for signs of life. You know, flowers in bloom, something. And there's still just a few crocus in somebody's yard. And I was going to take a picture, but I don't know those people. And they're not like right on the sidewalk, the crocus. So I'd have to like walk up their driveway to take pictures because I can see them up there. And I just don't think that would be very nice, you know. So you two both need to write me. And then everybody who's leaving a comment, you're going to be telling me this week how you prepare to work on a project. Do you do all your cutting first and then sew? Do you cut, sew as you go, or combo? So that is what you're answering. And I have two things because Kimberly sent me one of these t-shirts and it's a size large. So, you know, that's what I'm wearing. So if you think you're about my size, you know, you can write that you can write that you want. I would say, like, if you say no, like just put no t-shirt or something. Or when I write you, don't even worry. When I write you, I'll ask you. And if for some reason I pick somebody who can't wear this size, then I will send you something else. Okay, so don't worry about that. Just answer the question. Okay, and the other thing I will have is a package, also from the Back Quarter Shop, that is for somebody else to stitch with me. So I have the pattern and a package of the cute little floss flower winders. And then I have this package of 2 mini charms with the beautiful flowers, and it also has another gingham and the cupcake papers. So I have all of this, and this fabric is by Jara Brandig, and it's very sweet. And I think it would frame out this cross stitch really delightful because, like, there's yellow in it, and it has like a burgundy. I think that would go really well, like, with what I'm stitching. Like, you could make like a border on this and put this stitchery actually into, or that cross stitch. Do they call them stitcheries in cross stitch? They do. They do in embroidery. But anyways, you could use it to make a border around it. So that is what's going on this week. You know, this is a quilt month. I call it quilt month, but International Quilt Day is Saturday, March 16th, right? The 16th is Saturday. And I'm going to be doing a sew along for a table runner like we did to Halloween, my zigzag table runner. So I'm going to make it, I'm going to jump on and do videos on Quilt Day, because this is the first time in years that I'm actually home on Quilt Day to do this. Usually I'm on the road, or I'm actually teaching a workshop somewhere. So I am so excited. And I will, and remember to sign up for my newsletter so you get my emails, and join me at Facebook if you're finding me just on YouTube. At my group is called Quilt Along with Pat Sloan. And I am thrilled that you're part of my neighborhood. Greg and I thank you so much for supporting our small family business by using our links. And I will chat with you next time. Bye-bye.